Hello, everyone. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, or maybe good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome to the Affirming WSCF Legacy into Today Pathway of Justice event. I'm Anastasia Hilda, and alongside me is my co-host is Patrick Holly.
Hello, everyone. We're absolutely thrilled to have you join us today from various parts of the world, united in our Christian faith and the pursuit of justice and solidarity.
All right. Before we delve into our program, let's extend a warm welcome to our senior friends who bring a wealth of wisdom and experience to this virtual gathering.
To set the tone for this festive season and our gathering spirit, let's begin with a heartfelt Christmas message from the WSCF Chairperson, Reverend Dr. Geevarghese Mor Coorilos, or as we like to call him, Bishop George. Over to you, Bishop George.
Good evening, friends. At the very outset, on behalf of the World Student Christian Federation, I would like to wish all of you a Christ-filled Christmas and a very blessed New Year ahead. As chairperson of the World Student Christian Federation, I would also like to extend a warm welcome to all of you, particularly our senior friends, to this important family get-together. I also want to thank Marcelo, our General Secretary, for having organized this fellowship meeting. And it is my hope that this meeting will make our bond stronger. I've been asked to share a Christmas message, and I'll be very brief. It continues to be a paradox, isn't it? That the very birthplace of Jesus Christ, whose birth we celebrate, Bethlehem, Palestine, is not able to celebrate Christmas today, as it has been the case for a few decades now. As in the case of the very first Christmas, the violence of empire and injustice continues to grip Palestine today in the form of war, genocide, illegal occupation of land, and apartheid. Christmas, therefore, as it was then and is now, is a time to be in solidarity with, in oneness with the victims of injustice, victims of war, and of neo-imperialism. Today is the 13th of December. On the 10th of December, a couple of days ago, we celebrated the International Human Rights Day. December 1st is commemorated as the World AIDS Day, in solidarity with those humanity is violated through stigma and discrimination. December 3rd is World Disability Day, yet another community that experiences discrimination and isolation. Christmas to me is the commemoration of the violation of fundamental human rights, especially right to food, shelter, and clothing. Jesus was born in Bethlehem, the house of bread, and he was born as the bread of life for all. Yet he had to be born in conditions of utter poverty and starvation. expressing his oneness with the poor and the needy. Food was not the only fundamental human right that was denied to the baby Jesus and his family, his parents. Jesus had no shelter, no home to be born. He came as a homeless person, as the prototype of the homeless everywhere. The word of God pitched its tent in a manger, identifying himself with the homeless and the vulnerable nature. The baby Jesus was also denied decent clothing. You would see a baby wrapped in torn clothes. That would be your sign. The Gospel according to St. Luke chapter 2, verse 10. The original socio-economic and political context of Christmas remains much the same today, with new forms of empire, such as Zionism, neocolonialism, apartheid, genocide, illegal occupation of Palestine by Israel, causing violations of fundamental human rights. The cry of Rama then is echoed in the cries of innocent children, men and women in Gaza today. Palestinians in Gaza and elsewhere are being subject to modern day slavery and apartheid, extreme forms of denials of human rights by the state of Israel, lack of food, shelter, and clothing. Christmas, therefore, is a challenge for each one of us to search for the baby Jesus among the rubbles, among the debris caused by war and genocide in Palestine today and in similar context elsewhere, to find Jesus on the margins. That is the challenge of Christmas today. I like to end my brief reflections by sharing with you a story. The story is about a famous, internationally reputed photographer by name Kevin Carters. I'm sure most of you have heard of him and probably are aware of this story, which is very popular. Kevin Carters, as I said, was a very internationally renowned photographer. One of his most known, popular photographs was taken in Africa. And this was about a baby boy. As some of you would recall, this picture shows the baby boy naked, completely naked. And the boy is basically a cage of bones, a skeleton. And the boy in the picture is literally crawling towards a garbage bin, which is in the picture, right in front of the baby boy. So the boy is literally crawling towards the garbage bin, desperately looking for something to eat, some food. The boy has been starving for days. And in front of the garbage bin was an eagle waiting for this boy to breathe his last so that it can fly away with the corpse of the boy. This is a picture that was taken by Kevin Carters that won an international awards, prestigious awards. One day in Geneva, where he was honored for his photographic skills, in that meeting, many spoke very highly of Kevin Curtis. He was given a prestigious award during the function. And after his reply speech, as he was coming down to the audience, an elderly woman stood up and raised this question. She said, "Mr. Carter's, where is that boy today? But where is that boy?" That question was totally unexpected. It came like a bombshell to him. He could not answer. He was speechless. It took a while for him to recover from that shock. He could not sleep for days afterwards. And the story has it that he committed suicide later on out of guilt for not doing anything about the physical needs of that boy. He only took the picture and showed it to the world. He did not care to give that boy a glass of drink or a loaf of bread. To me, this story has a powerful message for all of us during Christmas. Where is that boy is the question that we need to face, that we need to ask ourselves when we celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. Where is that little boy? The hungry, the naked, the homeless, the vulnerable boy in our Christmas. Let that be the message and challenge that we carry with us during this meeting and beyond. Once again, I want to wish all of you a Christ-filled Christmas and a new year full of challenges and hope. I thank you for your patient listening. As I said, I hope this meeting will be a fruitful one, making our bond as SCMers even stronger than before. Thank you and God bless.
Well, thank you so much for Bishop George for the fruitful message. His words encapsulate the warm welcome to welcoming Christmas. And this year, he also mentioned, hopefully this Christmas can be a moment of solidarity for acts of injustice. Solidarity is a form of humanity regarding things that have happened recently. Bishop George also invite us to interpret Christmas in the spirit of human rights.
The purpose of this gala is to gather you, our dear friends, together in the name of Christ and to facilitate the continued important work of WSCF. Without your practical support, the work of the Federation is lessened, and without your solidarity, we are not ourselves. To describe in greater detail the purpose of this gala, I introduce to you our General Secretary, Marcelo Leites.
Thank you, Podi, Hilda. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I hope this virtual gathering finds you well, that we can be immersed in the spirit of commitment to the Federation. And with enormous pleasure, I welcome you all to this event that offers us the chance to close the year in the spirit of Advent at a time for reflection and anticipation. This event is a special occasion because we want to explore and discover new ways to work as a federation. The purpose and also the agenda of this event is threefold. Firstly, inspired by the senior friend gathering in the 37th General Assembly, we want to build bridges between generations by strengthening our senior friend network. This event is the first step of a broader roadmap to engage senior friends with actions and actors and fulfill our mission by mobilizing people, resources, and solidarity. We will listen also the WSCF legacy through inspiring stories from senior friends' journey and also from the impact of the current work through SCMer stories. We will introduce our senior friends and WSCF friends to the new plan, strategies, and program that WSCF had decided to pursue in the upcoming strategic plan period, and to introduce our staff team and program coordinators. And finally, but not the least, we will launch a silent auction that upholds the talent of artists from SCMs and that will contribute to the work of the program coordination in 2024. In summary, we will celebrate and reaffirm WSCF legacy, impact, and relevance, which is not less than celebrating our historical identity together. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you so much, Marcelo, for the welcoming speech. As we aim to further the noble causes of the WSCF, we are thrilled to introduce an exciting fundraising initiative. A silent auction featuring incredible artworks by talented young artists from our student.
The first artist is from Asia Pacific. His name is Jorge González, and he is the national chairperson of the Student Christian Movement of the Philippines. The second artist is from Latin America. Her name is Mariana Jorge, and she is a member of the Student Christian Movement of Brazil. The third artist is from Africa. His name is Bolo Ezro Ekomonizian, and he is a member of SCM Nigeria. Let's meet them.
Good day, I am Jorge Andres, the National Chairperson of the Student Christian Movement of the Philippines. I am an artist who is inspired by our Christian faith and the struggles of fellow Filipinos who are facing human rights violations, wanton rise of prices, and violations of academic freedom inside schools. It is thus important for us Christians to understand that Christ sides with the oppressed, and I believe that art is one way of relaying that message. Aside from SCM Philippines, I have also created various artworks with the National Council of Churches in the Philippines and the WSCF itself, where I was privileged to design the posters for the most recent WSCF General Assembly and Christmas cards. My digital artwork represents the diversity of SCMs around the world, yet we are united through our advocacies and campaigns towards life that is just and full. We SCMers believe that we do not practice ecumenism for ecumenism's sake. We answer the question, for whom do we pursue and forward ecumenism? We pursue ecumenism with and for the least, the last, and the lost in our societies. The artwork was created painstakingly through the sketchbook app in desktop since my iPad got broken. So thank you very much. And I hope you enjoy the artwork.
Ou em português, oi, tudo bem? Meu nome é Mariana Jorge, espero que essa mensagem chegue muito bem a todos vocês. E eu vim hoje contar um pouco das duas obras que eu pude contribuir, né, para esse evento. Então, a primeira é uma homenagem à questão da Palestina, assim, uma pomba que ancestralmente já traz muito dessa referência à paz. E essa pomba, eu desenhei ela em cima de um padrão feito a partir de kefir. E ela traz no bico um ramo de oliveira, né? Que também é um símbolo histórico da luta palestina, da luta árabe. E para somar em cima da pomba, eu adicionei 3 palavras em árabe que equivalem a justiça, paz e liberdade. E eu acho que é muito sobre o que eu penso e rezo nesse momento de advento tão próximo ao Natal. A minha segunda obra é esse quadro, essa ilustração digital, que traz, de forma um pouco generalizada, mas com muito carinho e respeito, algumas referências estéticas e visuais da luta latina, né? A luta que a gente vive diariamente na Bia Yala. Então, eu tento nesse quadro trazer essa ideia de trocar o sul pelo norte, né? Pensar essa questão geográfica e geopolítica que cerceia nossos mapas. E o mapa vem trazendo a bandeira de Uifala, que é uma bandeira muito importante para os povos andinos. E assim como algumas referências ao povo Mapuche, aos povos da Mata Atlântica do Brasil, com a Kiparaque, que é a nossa onça pintada, e outros símbolos de ancestralidade religiosa, assim como a espada de São Jorge, que vem da nossa raiz de matriz africana, e as chulas. Acho que é um pouco isso e tudo misturado. Muito obrigada.
My name is Bolu Ezra Ikwemonisong. I'm a visual artist, and my works are centered on humanity, primarily on events, ideologies, history, sometimes culture, religion. Basically, my works are primarily centered on humanity. And this work, one of the works that I am putting up for auction, is titled Identity. It is, the medium is charcoal, pastel, and acrylic on paper. And the idea of this work is to speak to the confusion, to humanity's confusion with regards to identity, where people pick things around, things that are ephemeral, things that are temporary, and things that are external, and they judge their identity based on those things. Unfortunately, identity is meant to be based on things that define your entity, not your feelings, not the things that, not the events that have happened, not things that are without, but things that are within. That's what identity should be on. So who I am should be based on what I'm called to do, what I'm supposed to do, what I'm supposed to fulfill, not my past or my feelings. Cheers.
Amazing. Please give applause from your own places. Thanks to all these 3 amazing SCMers who joined this auction with their art pieces. I want to introduce one special senior friend. Please welcome Luciano Kovacs. He is the Middle East and Europe coordinator of the Presbyterian Church of the USA. Also former regional secretary of the WSCF North America from 2009 until 2018, and senior friends of SCM Italy, FGEI. Please welcome Luciano.
Sorry, I was muted. Thank you so much. Thank you, Hilda and Pori. Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here for this wonderful gathering. Congratulations to the WSCF for getting together students and senior friends from across the globe on this particular day. As Hilda mentioned, my name is Luciano Kovac, and I'm currently working for a denominational church in the US, although I'm based in Italy, coordinating the desk of the Middle East and Europe. My commitment to the WSCF as a senior friend continues to this day, both as someone supporting the work that the WSCF continues to do for students, but also as a partner. And so I was invited today in, wearing 2 hats. And I'm here specifically to encourage our senior friends who are present here to bid for the silent auction that is one of the features of this event, as well as to donate to the WSCF for the amazing work that it continues to do. And, you know, part of what I want to share today very briefly is a lot of us who are senior friends owe a lot to SCM and WSCF. It's been our training ground for our becoming global ecumenists, for being able to carry out jobs like the one that I currently do, for giving us tools for critical thinking in terms of geopolitics, faith and justice, contextual biblical readings, and being part of a global community that carries out and hopes for peace with justice and dignity for all. So one of the things that I want to highlight is that this is going to be a symbolic auction, even though, you know, someone might be able to bring home one of the wonderful pieces of art. The winner of today's fundraiser is the Federation. So let me congratulate all the artists for the wonderful pieces of art that they are displaying and allowing the Federation to display on as part of this auction. And let me greet every one of you who is on this call. So let's together continue to support the World Student Christian Federation for its work to combine faith and justice and dignity for all.
Thank you very much, Luciano. Camilla is going, or Jessica will share in the chat the link to the Padlet at this point. I will go very slowly through the information you will need to participate. So first, you'll follow the link, obviously, in the chat box. Then you enter your contact information. Specify your bid for each item. The items are listed in the same order as on the Padlet. The stunning work of Bolo Ezra, the immersive piece by Kejan Andres, and the powerful piece by Mariana Jorge. When indicating into the field, consider the baseline or the starting bid of the piece. If you choose not to bid on the piece, to wait for a later one, please enter the value of 0 of the piece on which we're not bidding. The auction will remain open, and after 35 minutes, we will reconvene with Luciano to review the partial results. So I will just go through that once again for you. So you follow the link in the chat, enter your contact information, specify your bid for each item. The items are listed in the same order as on the Padlet. And when you're indicating in the field, consider the asking price, or the starting price, should I say, of the item. If you choose not to bid and are bidding on a later item, please enter a value of 0 for the item which you don't want. The auction will remain open, and after 35 minutes, we will reconvene with Luciano to review the partial results. At the 35 minutes, we'll look at those partial results, as I say, and we'll present a report only with bidder codes without showing your names.
All right. Thank you, Paudi. I hope all the participants is listening and understanding what Paudi has said to all of you. Hello, everyone. It's our Christmas event at WSCF. Feel free to get connected and gather online by say hello in the question and answer of the Zoom column chat. I have my new friend Paudi is from Ireland, and I'm online from Indonesia. It's the beautiful of WSCF. We can gather all around the world in this beautiful Christmas event. Is that right, Paudi?
Yes, it's such a well, it's a lovely time of year to connect, and it's a lovely time of year to share our Christian solidarity and to meet new people like yourself, Hilda. It's a real pleasure.
Yes, as we have all people around the world, I would like to say thanks to the technology because the participant in the Zoom can also access the interpretation. If you already update the Zoom, you can see in the below the interpretation, and you can click it, and you also can listen in English or Spanish or where you come from. That's right. All right. Without waiting furthermore, after Paudi has give a little bit brief overview of the auction methodology, we will move to the fourth part, is the legacy or the stories of the impact. I'm very excited. How about you, Paudi?
Oh yes, I'm looking forward to hearing these stories. And the great thing about giving in the Federation is that we give you real people with which to empathize. We connect you to real people on the ground and not just numbers in the newspaper. It's a really special feeling.
Totally agree. Our exploration into the legacy of WSCF begins by diving into impactful stories that reflects its transformative power. This personal journey exemplify the profound impact of WSCF on individuals across diverse backgrounds and experience. Since its foundation, WSCF has accompanied the life journey of many. We will first hear from Professor Dr. Bungaran Saragih Garingging, former Minister of Agriculture of Indonesia, also founder of BOS Foundation and the long-standing senior friends of SCM Indonesia, or we call GMKI, and also the former WSCF Centennial Fund board member. He will tell us about his journey at WSCF, from student to an activist. Please welcome Professor Dr. Bungaran. You're audible, Professor. You can, turn on the camera. Hi, Dr. Bungaran.
I'm very sorry. I'm not very familiar with this modern gadget. My secretary helping me. Yes, Marcelo asked me to tell my story of my journey from student to activist life. To tell you the truth, I'm not very sure whether I'm an activist or not. But later on, you'll know who am I. I moved to Bogor in 1964 to study at Bogor Agricultural University. Bogor is about 60 kilometers south of Jakarta, capital city of Indonesia. But originally, I come from North Sumatra, about 2,000 kilometers from Jakarta. At Bogor Agricultural University, I choose my subject matter on socioeconomics of agriculture. And I did my BS degree at Bogor Agricultural University, and then I continued later on in 1975 to 1980 for advanced studies in United States of America in agriculture economics and sociology of agriculture. Then back to Indonesia. When I was a student at Bogor Agricultural University, from 64 to 71, I was part of the Bogor Student Christian Movement, chapter of Indonesian Student Christian Movement. I was very active there. I joined the activities. I joined also the executive committee. But the most important things, my life in SCM, is joining the leadership training. Leadership training from local level to regional level, national level, and up to international level. In 1970, I joined ALDEC, Asian Leadership Development Center, organized by World Student Christian Federation. That was my first exposure to international event. Until now, I remember the motto of Indonesian SCM: faith, science, and contributions. This was always the theme of our discussion, study group, and leaderships in Indonesia. And this helped us, particularly myself, to think what will be my contribution for my country. I'm very sorry, we are very nationalistic in Indonesia, because of our history. So what will be an SCM, my contribution in the future for our country? And this is the basis of our and myself activisms. Among our friends, we had discussion during the student days, what will be our venue, individual venue, to serve our country. And there are friends who choose political party. There are friends who choose business. There are friends who choose other things. But I myself choose my future contribution will come from my academic life. My academic life. That is the reason why I'm not stopping only study in my undergraduate in Indonesia, but I continue. Luckily, I got scholarship from Rockefeller Foundation to study to United States. So I owe WSCF. I owe SCM part of that WSCF because it's motivate me, enlarge my horizon, and enable me also to participate more in the development of our country. So my activism is from development to sustainable development of our country, particularly in agriculture. Luckily, I become professor in agribusiness and I teach sustainable agribusiness to my students. Luckily, I become Minister of Agriculture from the year of 2000 to 2004. And that is the time for me also to practice my activisms, to change the paradigm of agriculture development to paradigm of sustainable agriculture development. So I started as an activist for development of the country. Development means growth and solving poverty. But later on, together with international communities, scientists, and also from our own experience, development is not enough. Development will not serve our purposes. We have to change our paradigm from development paradigm to sustainable development paradigm. So in my teaching, in my management and leadership at Department of Agriculture of Republic of Indonesia, this is the paradigm I brought. Not easy, but that is what I try to do. I finished the term in the government and then moved back to university for teaching. But I retired. I became Professor Emeritus in 2010. But from then on, I'm still active in my life to promote sustainable development in agriculture. Now, as mentioned before, I'm active in helping to save orangutan from extinction. Because I believe animal also has a right to live in this God creation. When we talk about justice, it is not only for myself, it is not only for human, justice also for animal, justice also for all living beings in this world. And we learn it from SCM, my SCM, our SCM time. I'm not only involved in protecting the orangutan, but also advising agribusiness in Indonesia for sustainable agriculture, particularly the oil palm, which is the famous oil palm. A lot of criticism because of unsustainable practice there. And we help them. We help them to be more sustainable. And also I'm active at Roundtable Sustainable Palm Oil. Want to help all palm oil in the world to get certification of sustainability. I hope that my participation there is also part of my activism for sustainable development paradigm. So my experience, my journey is based on two things: academic life and faith-based, which I got it from SCM and WSCF. Maybe too long, I'm sorry, but that is my story. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Bungaran. That was very inspiring. I enjoyed that immensely. Perhaps when Professor Bungaran says he at the start he didn't feel like an activist, is because so many of us are just people doing the right thing for our countries and our fellow Christians and for the natural world. Many of us would recognize the life journey of Professor Bungaran, how WSCF creates leaders of us all, fired by our Christian initiative. As has happened so many times in the last 2,000 years, there will always be those who look at us and say, look at the Christians, see how they live. In Professor Bungaran's account of his contributions to the Philippines, we also see that ours is a faith not satisfied with the status quo, but down in amongst the workers of the issues of today. Thank you once again, Professor Bungaran. That was very inspiring. I would now like to introduce our second speaker, Betsy Anderson. She is the former chair of WSCF Canada Board and was vice chair of the WSCF from 1976 to 1981. So some of you will no doubt recognize Betsy. Let's listen to this story titled WSCF as a life-changing movement. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I have a little friend with me who's a bit noisy. Yes, Professor Bungaran from Indonesia, that was indeed very inspiring. So thanks to Marcelo for this opportunity to reminisce and to share a few stories from my time in the Canadian SCM and WSCF. They've certainly shaped and influenced my life and continue to do so. But at the age of 71 and a grandmother, with 3 minutes, I'm going to leave out a lot. So sorry for that. But thanks again for the chance to bring some highlights. I was well steeped in the Canadian SCM when I arrived at the University of Toronto in 1971. My parents, John and Muriel Anderson, like many of their peers, had met and married in the SCM in Canada. And so I carried that heritage with me. But joining in the SCM at U of T, at the University of Toronto, I unknowingly arrived into the life of the Federation in the midst of great transition. The Addis Ababa General Assembly in 1972 had voted to reorganize the Federation into regions with staff and budgets decentralized in an effort to reflect the independence, anti-imperialist, and post-colonial reality of the majority of the movements. For the Canadian SCM, this proved to be a challenge, as we were to be in the North American region with the United States. That was a time of growing Canadian nationalism and efforts of independence, both from our heritage as a British colony and as being in a relationship with a very large elephant south of us. So it was a challenging ask, but Placide Bazoche, who was our regional staff person originally from France, and the SCM there, brought great skill and sensitivity and some success to his effort in helping us build a North American region. Along the way, I learned a lot about anti-racism, about feminism, about leadership, and about organizational design. In 1974, I was elected to attend the WSCF executive meeting in Buenos Aires, and I met many Federation staff who were significant mentors over the years I was in the governance structures of the Federation. I also, at that time, accepted the Latin American region's invitation to visit SCMs in Peru and Mexico as I traveled back home. But the most life-shaping experience. The most life-shaping experience was visiting Canadian SCM friends in Chile after the coup, Arturo and Flori Chacon. I was previously inspired, but even more inspired after that encounter. Sorry. Hey, baby. Yeah. So I joined the Latin American Working Group when I got back to Toronto. And that's a solidarity organization that had worked for many years, originally responding to the call from Latin American Christian students after the invasion of the Dominican Republic. LOG, or the Latin American Working Group, would become my place of work as a young adult. And its leaders also profoundly shaped my politics, my engagement, and my theology. Okay. Okay. The North American region hosted the Montreal. Whoops. I'm just going to go see if I can find a parent. Whoops, there's a parent. There we go. Okay.
Beautiful.
Great, thank you.
Well, I'll just carry on here.
Yeah,
the North American region hosted the Montreal Executive in 1974, and our chair, the Federation chair, Mercy Amba Odoyuye, couldn't be there. So I got thrown into the job of chairing that executive meeting, which was definitely a trial by fire, even though it was a very cold winter that we gathered. I learned a lot. And when I attended the General Assembly in Colombo, I was elected as a vice chair of the WSCF. That was an amazing experience. And in that time, I was exposed to the strengths and the sins of an international ecumenical movement whose leadership was largely men. I learned a lot. I was influenced in particular by some of the women who were the leaders of that time. Mercy Amba Odoyuye, Margaret Flory, Jan Griesinger, Ruth Harris, Gabrielle Dietrich, Necta Montes. The highlights are many, but in the current context, the memorable moment that I am remembering was the WSCF meeting in 1980, the executive meeting in Beirut. Easter was around the corner. We attended an amazing Orthodox Palm Sunday service in the cradle of ancient Christianity. We were honored to be taken by a very circuitous and careful route to meet Yasser Arafat. And we learned while gathered of the assassination of Bishop Oscar Romero. These events and all they represent have shaped my life and my commitment to an activist faith. They constantly call me back to a theology that accepts God's preferential option for the poor and a lifetime of growing in self-understanding of my privilege as a white, straight Canadian woman. That privilege has also brought opportunities to speak truth to power, whether in our own processes and choices as a movement or a church, or in our wider communities. I'm reminded to listen to unfamiliar and uncomfortable voices and expect to be changed. This is a lifetime journey for sure.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Betsy. All right, so Betsy already sharing about her story and expressed gratitude to WSCF for the opportunity to reflect on the impact of the student Christian movement and also the WSCF on her lifetime. Having been immersed in Canadian SCM from a young age, Betsy's involvement in WSCF governance structure began in 1974, attending the executive committee meeting and also visiting SCM like in Peru and Mexico. The narrative highlight of the Betsy leadership role during the Montreal executive meeting and also the election as vice chair of the WSCF at the Colombo General Assembly. Memorable moments include a Bible study in Colombo, inspiring Betsy to study theology at Emmanuel College. Betsy also reflects on her experience, friendship, and lesson learned through the SCM and WCF, shaping her faith and work profoundly. Thank you so much for the beautiful sharing with us, Betsy. Our last speaker is Salter Sterling, former president of the WSCF Centennial Fund Board of Trustees. Salters has a long-lasting involvement in the SCM life, having several positions in the SCF of Britain and Ireland, specialist lecturer in the care of dying between 1995 until 2012, Irish Secretary, Anglo or Irish Accountant, the part of the Northern Ireland peace process between 1996 until 2006. Salters will point out his experience in developing integration cooperation in practice. So proudly present, please welcome Salters Sterling.
Thank you so much. Great to be with you. Greetings to everybody, and especially to those who I have journeyed with, like Betsy and Bungaran and Ken and Luciano and George and goodness knows how many more on the gallery. Welcome to my home here in the middle of Ireland. 62 years ago, in 1961, when I was 24, I became the Irish Secretary of the Student Christian Movement. The next day in the post, I received a card saying, "Congratulations, do come and see me." It was from Tom Barker, my predecessor of exactly 50 years previously in 1911, the first full-time Irish Secretary of the SCM. I accepted his invitation, visited him, and in doing so entered into the Senior Friend Fellowship of the World Student Christian Federation. Tom was nearly 80 years of age, crippled by the effects of the atomic bomb which the United States had dropped on Nagasaki, where he had been a Japanese prisoner of war. At the end of my first visit, I agreed to call on him once a week when I was near where he lived. To visit Tom was one of the best decisions I ever made. Tom Barker had spent most of his working life in China, in Manchuria to be precise. He had been Professor of New Testament in the Presbyterian College in Mukden, now called Shenyang, and then in the Ecumenical Theological University in Peking, now called Beijing. When he left Europe in 1913, Albert Schweitzer's book, The Quest of the Historical Jesus, had just been published in English. Schweitzer had concluded that it was almost impossible to construct anything approaching a biography of Jesus. Tom Barker spent his life demonstrating that it was perfectly possible to put together a biography of Jesus. This I learned in my weekly conversations with him. Tom agreed to make his vast knowledge available to the students in the local branches of the SCM in Ireland. During term time, twice every week, Tom would lead Bible study in his own home, with students sitting on chairs, on tables, on the floor, listening and questioning, discussing and learning, and being inspired. At the end of the Bible study, Tom could be persuaded to talk about his time in China and in Nagasaki. It was during this time that we learned that we must not interpret and understand China from the perspective of it being a communist state as understood in the days of the Cold War. Tom loved China. He loved its people, and he wanted us to understand how that could be so. Tom had even managed to be a friend of Mao Zedong, who had publicly expressed great gratitude for all the Federation had done to help Chinese people and students, in particular during the invasion of Northeast China by Japan. Having senior friends around is about creating a great network of friendship, which we Christians call fellowship. That friendship is international. It is intergenerational. It is interchurch, and it is interfaith. Tom's teaching presence at the heart of the SCM in Ireland during the last years of his life introduced generations of students to the great adventure of faith, which is what being the friends of Jesus is all about. In 2016, Michael and I went to China accompanied by a friend of ours, a Chinese professor of robotics who shared our home in Ireland. We had just discovered that his university was the university in which Tom Barker had taught in Moncton, now Shenyang. We stayed just across the road from the University Medical School, and we visited the premises where Tom Barker had taught his New Testament studies. I lectured in the university, and Michael showed slides of Tom Barker's friends. There were people in the audience who saw pictures of their grandfathers and grandmothers for the first time ever. They were delighted, thrilled, overawed that Ireland should have historic material about China, which doesn't exist in China today. After dinner, we gave a lift in our taxi to a very old retired Chinese professor of history. He told us in his broken English that he remembered Tom Barker. I share this world of senior friends with you so that in your time, the power, the inspiration, the potential of this fellowship may grow again as senior friends wherever you are, and wherever they are, may welcome you to their homes, give you of their substance, their knowledge, their wisdom, and return receive from you something of eternal youthfulness, of passion, and of the knowledge that the journey which they have made on the road for justice and for peace continues on, has been and is being worthwhile, and is still being blessed by Jesus. Thank you for inviting me to share with you.
Thank you very much, Salters. No, I've known Salters, my fellow countryman, Irish, for quite some time. It always motivates me to hear his accounts of the past, and really helps me to ask about the potential for what might be possible. So thank you, Salters, for your extensive involvement in the student Christian movement, your vocation really for the World Student Christian Federation, beginning in 1952, I believe.
Yes.
And yeah. So the 1964 General Assembly, they represented the Federation of the United Nations Charter of Human Rights at that conference in '67, I believe. And so you served as a resource person for the Federation of the Turku Conference in 1968 and the Montreal General Assembly in 2008. So it is an amazing list of accomplishments, really. While senior friends organizations exist in a few of our countries today, Salters continue advocacy for conscious public decisions in the Federation, and for collaboration of the national SCMs is again, it's very inspiring, and I hope you continue to support us in the years, as I'm sure you will do in the years to come. Thank you for everything. So. Yes.
It's due this month.
Yes, God willing. Yeah. Hilda, would you like to say something?
Yeah, thank you so much, Salter Sterling, for explain us your experience. So beautiful. I'm from Indonesia, and it's good to see how you motivate us. Maybe this morning or tonight in my place. Actually, in Jakarta, it's night. How about in Ireland? Is that in the morning?
No,
we're
I've just
afternoon.
had my lunch. Smoked salmon and brown bread.
Oh,
Lovely.
beautiful. Have you had your lunch, Paudi?
I haven't had my lunch yet. No. As I like.
Okay.
Are you in Dublin, Paddy?
I am, yeah, but I like a big dinner.
Well, I shall have that this evening.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
So, if I can just draw everyone's attention again at this point to the link in the chat. This fundraising initiative is of utmost importance to the future initiatives of the Federation. And without the help of you, our senior friends, there will just be things that we will be unable to do. And I implore you once again to follow the link in the chat and to help in any way that you can. Back to you, Hilda.
All right. Thank you, Paudi, to lead us and to give a little bit introduction again about our art from our talented SCMers. So we have listened about the WSF legacy, as the title of the webinar is Affirming WSF Legacy into Today's Pathways of Justice. And we have listened three of our honorable senior friends. The first one is Professor Bungaran, who is explain us about the path of justice from being a student to being an activist. And then we also have Betsy Anderson, with her work is about WSF as a life-changing space. And the last one, last but not least, from Mr. Salter Starling, who explained about WSCF and intergenerational cooperation and also dialogue. So now, Paudi, we will move and want to listen more about the students' work in different parts of the world. Cannot wait furthermore. Please, Paudi.
No, thank you very much, Jessica, for your continued technical support. Let's hear firsthand from some remarkable SCMers from around the globe as they share their ongoing initiatives and the far-reaching impact of WSCF programs. Transformative youth that are committed to fostering peace and justice all over the world. First, we have Jesufifunmi Emiola, I hope I'm saying that correctly, a member of SCM Nigeria. Jesufifunmi is a fun, spirited young person, hardworking, committed to excellence. She takes peculiar interest in teaching. Well, maybe not so peculiar, but she takes particular interest in teaching the Bible. She loves art, especially when expressed musically, and loves to dance. I wouldn't mind seeing some of that. Over to Jesufifunmi.
Okay, hello, hi. Okay, don't worry, you probably will see me dance sometime soon, but it's really nice to be here. I'm really excited to be here. And I have 3 minutes, so I'll try to be fast. Okay, my name is Jesufifunmi Emiola, so you didn't totally murder it, but you tried. And I'm Nigerian, and my journey with the student Christian movement began in my first year of uni. and that's back in 2014. It was one of the best decisions I made when I got to uni, because the impact of SCM has been important in shaping me spiritually, academically, and in leadership, very importantly. And in the heart of our local SCM, we embraced the powerful slogan, which we called the Bible in one hand and the newspaper in the other. What it basically meant was it encapsulated the essence of not only learning biblical principles, but also applying these teachings to bring about positive change in our immediate environment, as symbolized by the newspaper in our other hand. So for me, one experience that stands out for me is I got the opportunity to be a leader at a young age. The organization empowered me and a couple of other people to be leaders who could guide followers towards a meaningful cause. I gained a profound understanding of the true significance of leadership, which encompasses a journey of service, influence, and accountability. During my tenure as the president of my local SCM at the time, which was from 2017 to 2019. So back in SCM then, our approach was holistic, emphasizing the importance of integrating faith with realities of the world. And this perspective became a guiding principle for me in my life, allowing me to navigate challenges with a well-rounded understanding and a commitment to making a difference. I am very grateful for the platforms and the opportunities that the WSCF through the SCM has provided, allowing me to thrive as a young leader. I was able to attend the General Assembly last year in Berlin, and it was a great experience meeting people from all over the world and getting to interact with people. The experience taught me the importance of fostering an environment where the youth can blossom into capable leaders, equipped with both spiritual principles and practical skills. So as I reflect on my growth within SCM, I am inspired and I want to express my gratitude to those like you who support the Federation. Your contributions have a cascading effect, reaching young individuals like me and playing a pivotal role in grooming the next generation of leaders. I am hopeful that the Federation will continue to provide these essential platforms, enabling more young people to thrive in their leadership journeys. And so to sum up, I will say thank you for your attention, thank you for listening, and for your unwavering support. And I believe that together we can continue to nurture a community where young people like myself can develop into impactful leaders, grounded in faith and dedicated to making a positive impact in the world. Thank you so much for having
me. Beautiful. I'm applause from Indonesia. And thank you, Jesu, for sharing your story. My lovely friend from Nigerian, who reflects on the profound impact of the student Christian movement on her spiritual, academic, and leadership development. Jesu also highlight a pivotal experience as the president of her local SCM, where she learned the true essence of leadership, a journey of service, influence, and accountability. She also expressing gratitude to supporters and acknowledge the cascading effect of their contribution in grooming the next generation of leaders. She concludes with a hopeful message for the Federation to continue providing essential platforms, nurturing a community where young individuals can thrive in their leadership journey and make a positive impact on the world. Beautiful. Back to Pauli.
We'll now turn to Jorge González Núñez, chairperson of the Student Christian Movement of Cuba and member of WSCF LAC Regional Board, theology student at the Evangelical Theology Seminary in Matanzas, Cuba, popular educator and an activist for the rights of LGBTIQ+ people. I had the great pleasure to meet Jorge at the General Assembly in Berlin. We share many of the same motivations, and I'm delighted to hear from them again today. Take it away there, Jorge.
Con todas y con todos y compartir un poco de la experiencia de trabajo que ha significado la FUMEC en mi vida personal, en la militancia y en el trabajo que hago. Quiero agradecer a cada uno y a cada uno de ustedes también las palabras inspiradoras del obispo George y los testimonios tan emocionantes que hemos escuchado de lo que ha significado la FUMEC para tantas generaciones. Y sin embargo, la FUMEC es un espacio que sigue vivo, que se sigue moviendo y que se sigue articulando a favor de la justicia, y que una de las grandes cosas que ha hecho es poder colocar nuestras voces diversas, nuestras voces del sur también, en espacios importantes de debate, de lucha. Mi nombre, como ya decían, es Jorge González, soy presidente del Movimiento Estudiantil Cristiano en Cuba, y una de las cosas que hemos desarrollado en los últimos años ha sido un trabajo muy intenso a favor de la justicia de género y la inclusión de todas las personas, especialmente de las personas con identidades LGBTIQ+. Pudiéramos señalar momentos que han sido más trascendentales en la historia reciente. Uno de ellos ha sido la militancia, el trabajo que desarrolló en Cuba para lograr que se aprobara en Cuba el nuevo Código de las Familias, un código que traía unas propuestas inclusivas, especialmente las del matrimonio igualitario entre personas del mismo género, y también una ampliación de un grupo de derechos hacia las mujeres y las personas ancianas. El MEC de Cuba tuvo un papel fundamental, tuvo un papel, un apoyo directo para que se aprobara el Código de las Familias en Cuba, y eso también fue muy relevante porque logramos organizar, potenciar, poner en el espacio público un discurso teológico que era liberador, que era inclusivo y que reconocía el derecho de todas las personas frente a un discurso que también, que muchas veces es conservador, que es excluyente, que deja fuera a tantas y tantas personas. Y también ha sido interesante la experiencia personal y del MEC de Cuba en ese espacio público, en ser parte de la sociedad civil cubana y de colocar también en esos espacios la cuestión de la inclusión de las personas, sexo, género, diversas. Una experiencia muy interesante ha sido también participar representando a la sociedad civil cubana, a la FUMEC, en espacios de las Naciones Unidas, especialmente en el examen periódico universal ante la Comisión de Derechos Humanos. Un gran desafío para nosotras y nosotros como juventud, como estudiantes, también hablar desde la fe y desde nuestra experiencia cristiana, pero fue un espacio muy enriquecedor, justamente porque existen en las personas del mundo secular, también defensoras y defensores de derechos humanos, existen grandes vacíos, grandes desconocimientos hacia el sector cristiano, muchas veces justificados, como ya decía, por posicionamientos conservadores o fundamentalistas, pero que cuando nuestras voces son compartidas, podemos matizar ese escenario religioso que es diverso y donde buena parte también se realiza un activismo a favor de la inclusión y el reconocimiento de todas las personas. La FUMEC ha sido un espacio inspirador, ha sido un espacio de realización personal también, como ya decía, de potenciar un liderazgo de una persona, un hombre gay, desafían las estructuras patriarcales y de opresión en el mundo. Yo creo que el papel que desarrolla la FUMEC en Cuba, en la región y en el mundo sigue siendo trascendental para la construcción de esas nuevas teologías que seguimos necesitando, cada vez más contextuales, teologías que sean liberadoras, teologías que miren hacia el sur global y desde aquí también nos permitan levantar nuestras voces en contra de todas las estructuras que generan opresión, discriminación y violencia. También entendiéndonos, también entendiendo y reconociendo la importancia de unir nuestras luchas, manteniendo nuestras identidades, pero también de unificar nuestras luchas, las luchas de las mujeres, las luchas de las personas LGBTIQ+. Tenemos muchos desafíos como federación, pero el camino que Dios ha trazado sigue siendo esperanzador, sigue siendo motivador, y las juventudes de la FUMEC seguimos trayendo un mensaje de esperanza en medio de este mundo que tanto lo necesita. Muchas gracias por esta oportunidad de compartir mi experiencia y que Dios les bendiga.
Thank you so much, Jorge. I would like to say that your continued commitment to equality amongst the churches gives us a real glimpse of the church of the future. And your theological literacy is an asset not just to yourself, but to the Federation. The ability to defeat the ignorance that's born out of hate with education and knowledge is really important, and it is cheering to continue to see LGBT participation in church life, and that people like yourself are not alienated from their faith is truly a gift from God. Hilda, would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, thank you so much, Pauli, to summarize or highlight what Jorge said. And also thank you, Jorge, for sharing with us tonight. Before we move on to the next agenda, I would like to say hello to our participant, the senior friends, and also the students all around the world as the one big family of WSCF. I see from the column chat, we have someone from Denmark. Please say hello, Gay, on the column chat. And we also have someone from the Italy, who is well known with the pizza. And we have someone from Nigeria, Germany, Rwanda, Indonesia, and Lebanon. And we also have someone, send a friend from Mexico. Please do not shy to say hello again and do little bit chit chat on the column chat, and as we gathering in this beautiful event. And we also have someone from Zambia, India, and many more. Even I cannot say all of them, Paudi. It's too many. And I also, yeah, and I also would like to say thank you to Serena to lead us from the column chat with the bidding platform. You can see the detail on the column chat, what Serena sent to us. Yeah, and I think we cannot wait to move on to the next agenda. Is that right, Paudi?
Before we move on, I would just like to take the opportunity to say hello to some friends from the General Assembly. I know Father Neme is there. Myself and Father Neme had many late night chats, and it was good to know them. I also see the former European chair. It's good to see Zuzana there amongst the ranks of the senior friends now. Her commitment to WSCF Europe was really inspiring to me coming up through those days. So it's lovely to see people from every region really here today.
Yeah, like just what Paudi said, I think we all hope to see in person. Maybe I will meet Paudi in person someday. And then our third speaker she is a Palestinian young lawyer based in Bethlehem. In 2022, she was the delegate of SCM Palestine at the 37th WSCF General Assembly and has attended several regional ecumenical meetings. Her advocacy is focused on peace building along with the SCM in Palestine and its program like Hope and Sea and the Olive Tree Campaign.
I'm Haya Bannoura from Bethlehem, Palestine, a member in the Palestinian Ecumenical Youth Movement for many years. I participated in several conferences locally in Palestine as well as on the international level with the WSCF. In summer 2022, I participated as a delegate of the movement in the General Assembly of the WSCF in Berlin. My participation had an important effect on my life locally as a Palestinian young woman, which is a path to have a role in my community and a way to express my opinion and participation in my local society. Internationally, my participation had an effect to advocate the Palestinian cause for freedom to the international community and to describe the reality that we live in every day under occupation. My participation in the General Assembly last year was a fantastic experience because I got the chance to meet many people from different countries in the whole world. And I got to listen to their issues and the problems they face in their lives. WSCF has been advocating for peace in Palestine for a long time. I participated in many trainings with Ecumenical Movement Palestine, which it was about human rights, democracy, peace building. Also, I participated with the Middle East WSCF in Muslim-Christian dialogue in Cairo 2015, Ayanaba 30 in Beirut 2014, and summer program in Cairo 2014. In the WSCF, the struggle for Free Palestine has been one of the main focus of the peace-building program. In Palestine, through the Kairos Palestine document, invite all people to come and see our situation in Palestine. And we encourage all countries to take part in the solidarity activities beside our call for boycott, divestment, and sanctions of the occupation as a non-violent tools for justice, peace, and security. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Haya. I must say that in the continued work of SCM Palestine and of yourself really is so important in disturbing this black and white image of the war in Palestine. And I would like to thank you for that, and for your colleagues in the Middle East region, or for bringing the Christian dimension to all discussions of the situation of the crisis in Gaza and the West Bank. Thank you. So, to understand the enduring relevance of WSCF, we invite you to explore the comprehensive program outline and meet our dedicated team of staff and coordinators who tirelessly drive these initiatives forward. I'd like to hand you over to Marcelo, I believe, first of all.
Thank you, friends. I think that I have a message from Hilda. I don't know if, Hilda, you want to say something before I start? Or should I start?
Yes, please, Marcelo. The time is yours.
Thank you. Friends, during the 37th General Assembly in Berlin in 2022, the WSCF addresses key global themes and strategies that were crucial to navigate important worldwide topics. Themes such as climate and economic justice, peace building, democracy, human rights and fundamentalisms, identity, diversity and dialogue, gender justice, and youth ecumenical leadership were the main discussion points. Students and seniors actively engaged in 3 days of debate and planning during our General Assembly. Global staff team and Irish staff, together officers, have been committed to turning this topic into the new program of the WSCF. In addition to program development and strategic planning, the past year saw WSCF operation dedicated to crafting the framework of a new federative governance. This framework, comprising good practices, mutual accountability, collaboration, and development of innovative communication and capacity building methods, aims to enhance the effectiveness of WSCF body programs implementation work. WSCF is implementing strategies across our program to address these themes. The Federation mission is supported by 4 pillars: advocacy and solidarity, biblical and theological reflection, youth mobilization, and movement strengthening. Each pillar plays an essential role in sustaining and strengthening the work of the Federation. Now we want to introduce the rest of the team, the global staff team, that together the international staff and the General Secretariat will be in charge of implementing programmatic areas and coordinating the actions and initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcelo. My name is Serena Tiburtini. I'm Italian, and today my role is to share with you and shed light why WSCF has a peace-building program. Well, first, because the right to peace is not just an aspiration, but a fundamental right, one that far too many individuals witness being violated in our world today. A few numbers: there are currently more than 45 active conflicts in the Middle East and more than 35 in Africa, escalating in complexity and international involvement. 91 countries are currently entangled in some form of conflict, a jump which is significant from just 58 in 2005. The statistics are staggering and demand our immediate action. Second, because it's youth who bear the brunt of these conflicts. And not only are young people the most affected by wars and conflicts, youth have a critical stake in peace building. Their future depends on their collective ability to recover from the devastation of conflict, heal from the psychological wounds, and ensure their physical safety. And third, because the very fabric of peace is continuously threatened. We witness escalating mass shootings, terrorist attacks, femicide, and violent far-right and anti-migrant protests spreading across many nations. These conflicts, rooted in generational, political, socio-economic, and gender-based issues, deeply impact the prosperity of our communities. So what exactly are we doing about it? At times of crisis, mere words are not enough. Engagement is key. So we have taken a stand, making our position clear on various conflicts. For instance, in 2022 and 23, we vocalized our support for Ukraine and for Palestine. But our efforts don't stop here. For example, we engage actively with ecumenical bodies and networks like the Global Kairos Network, providing a platform for Palestinian voices and advocating for justice and the rights of people. Recently, on December the 5th, we organized an online seminar that was attended by more than 50 participants on the issue. Looking ahead to 2024, Europe will engage in a year-long project focused on mental health in the face of the current world situation. This initiative includes comprehensive research, training, and a publication amplifying the voices of young people on this crucial topic. We will also work tirelessly to facilitate and support initiatives nurturing peace-centered leadership within our own SCMs, to support them in being safe and inclusive spaces where peace is not merely an aspiration, but a daily lived experience. We are committed to developing resources and activities centered around generational and intercultural studies. Because through these efforts, young people will have deeper understanding of their community, their ability to identify conflict triggers, and the skills to engage diverse people and foster consensus on critical advocacy issues. In conclusion, as you have seen, our commitment to peace building isn't just a mere statement, it's an action-driven mission. Together, we can pave the way for a world where the right to peace is safeguarded, where conflicts are prevented or resolved through dialogue and understanding, and where the youth can thrive in a peaceful, harmonious, and global community. Thank you.
My name is Morgan Mambwe. My role is to talk about the Youth Ecumenical Leadership Formation Program. About 42% of the world's population is below the age of 25, with Sub-Saharan Africa accounting for the most youthful population, and Europe having the least youthful population. When it comes to youth participation in decision-making, Antonio Guterres is reported to have lamented that when it comes to participation in public policy-making and decision-making, youth remain almost invisible. In churches and other Christian circles, the number of youths involved in activities is ever shrinking, especially in the global north. As a Christian ecumenical organization working with the youths, this is a matter of concern as it impacts not only the present, but also the future. The reduction in the number of young ones in churches and ecumenical movements is a threat to the future of Christianity. What are we doing about this situation as a federation? We understand that leadership is not just about taking up positions and titles, but about the ability to deliver according to the expectations. Therefore, the key aspect of this program is to equip the young with leadership skills and knowledge to reawaken the spirit of evangelical ecumenism for a holistic transformation of societies. We are committed to publish resources that will provide theological guidance on youth ecumenical leadership formation and capacity building. which are tailored to meet the aspirations and worldviews of present and future generations. We are also committed to supporting young and emerging leaders in different key decision-making positions to foster inclusive societies. We advocate for the inclusion of youths in key decision-making positions, for increased participation of youths in policy-making and implementation. In the coming year, we are looking forward to holding capacity-building workshops, especially in the African region, which is the most youthful region. As for the regions in the global north, we are looking forward to conducting a research on why youths are losing their zeal to be involved in church and ecumenical activities, and coming up with the strategies on how this can be overcome so as to have a renewed, willful participation of youths. In conclusion, this program envisions a vibrant and revived participation and growth of the youths in leadership and ecumenical circles for the growth of the kingdom of God on earth. Thank you very much, and I want to invite all of us to be part and parcel of this active work of WSCF. Thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Dianet Martínez. I am Cuban, and I want to take a moment to also express my immense gratitude for all the testimonies that have been shared today, as they are all close to my heart, as I myself have been also journeying for so many years from my local, regional, global levels. And I'm also here today as a result of all the formation, of all the learnings, the solidarity, and the of being part of this family. Today, I speak as Regional Executive for Latin America and the Caribbean, and together with my colleagues, I continue adding to this brief journey through the Federation Global Programs. In my case, I will also share some inputs about the democracy, human rights, and fundamentalism program. From our various latitudes, we continue to observe an intense disputes in the field of human rights, social, political, cultural, religious, which must be seen in the broad background of the intensification of geopolitical disputes over access to various strategic resources that our nations have. In this complex scenario, fundamentalisms become strategies for the construction of meanings at the service of patriarchy, neoliberal capitalism, racializing imperialism, and other dominant powers that oppress our peoples and territories. They have managed to curtail conquered rights, particularly those of women, LGBT, migrants, hinder the advancement of popular movements' demands, confront and influence judicial systems, and in some cases, destabilize democracies. Religious fundamentalism is key for the maintenance of this neoliberal project, creating instruments of intolerance and hatred through moral and discriminatory agendas. The ecumenical youth of the WSCF believe that it is crucial to take stand for human rights, to open up spaces for critical socio-political thinking and dialogue, and to continue rescuing our history from the traditions of contextual, Black, indigenous, feminist, interreligious, ecumenical, and diverse gender theologies, in order to reimagine alternative paths from values such as justice, equality, and freedom to the necessary transformations, not only of governments and states, but of the whole world and the systems that rule it. Some of the local, regional, and global 2023 WSCF activities witness these pursuits. The ecumenical gathering, for instance, on March 3, where we affirmed our faith and struggled with the toiling Filipino masses and stood with the victims of human rights violations in the Philippines, now under the brutal Marco Duterte administration. On International Refugee Day, June 20, WSCF joined the Southern European Partnership Network, opening up a space of dialogue to hear and reflect on the situation of people in the borderland and on the work that churches and ecumenical organizations are doing and can do in the border areas. The International Seminar on Human Rights and Fundamentalism in Jakarta, Indonesia, last July was also a very significant moment where voices from the Indonesian government, universities, and churches dialogued with young representatives of the WSCF locally and globally to share lights on the impact of fundamentalisms and our commitment to human rights, integrity of creation, and peace. For 2024, we are already preparing for a consultation, immersion, and capacity building training on human rights issues in Asia-Pacific region. And also in Latin America, we will be developing a training course on fundamentalism, human rights, and democracy, combining the critical and contextual reading of the Bible with the political proposal of the popular education in the exploration of liberating community alternatives towards a plural, diverse, and participatory horizon with social and environmental justice. You are all welcome to join us in our efforts to contribute building just and inclusive societies by empowering ecumenical youth and students as a potent counterforce to fundamentalist ideologies, undermining the values of justice, equality, and freedom by actively engaging in the protection of human rights, strengthening of democratic values, and promoting interfaith dialogues and cooperation. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Dianet. Hi, everyone. My name is Yoanda Yonggara. I am the Regional Secretary for Asia Pacific Regions and also the Director of one of the global programs on identity, diversity, dialogues, and gender justice. Today, I will highlight some of our program's critical actions and future directions, especially during these challenging times. So why these programs? Well, our world now is facing a fragmented understanding and acceptance of gender and sexual orientations. Discriminations against LGBTQIA individuals is more than a cultural issue. It is deeply institutionalized in many parts of the world. This systemic injustice is rooted in historical biases, cultural beliefs, and often misinterpretations of religious texts. The result, a societal divide that has marginalized women and LGBTQIA+ communities, leading to harmful stereotypes, discriminations, and a multitude of violations of basic human rights. These biases are not just societal stains, they manifest as violence, mental health issues, economic disparities, and a denial of basic human rights. The fight for gender justice and the acceptance of LGBTQIA+ individuals is a cornerstone of human rights and is imperative for the holistic development and unity of society. It is crucial, particularly for institutions with a religious and ecumenical foundations, to champion inclusivity and understanding. WSCF, with its influential positions in the ecumenical community and extensive experience in advocacy and training, stands uniquely positioned to drive this change. We are committed to being a beacon of change within churches and the ecumenical movement, fostering dialogue and inclusivity. Our role is to bridge the gap between traditional beliefs and contemporary perspectives, promoting a more inclusive and understanding society. Now, our actions are shaped by real-world challenges and driven by commitment to tangible change. In July 2023, we organized a gender sensitivity workshop in Indonesia, highlighting the complexities of gender identity across different cultures and the need for deconstructing patriarchal norms. The workshop explored how Christian teaching advocate for inclusivity and also giving voice to the marginalized. Moreover, Still this year, the WSCF in Latin America developed its gender justice and inclusions policy, interweaving the identity of the federations, the intersectional commitment, and the principles and methodology of popular educations. This work group took into account the previous part and the instruments of federations regarding IDD, aiming to continue providing safer spaces for the growth and protections of the well-being of its staff, regional leaderships, and SCMers, and valuing the intercultural context of the organizations and the challenges that this poses. This document is actually a starting point for a second moment in 2024 that will include the implementations mechanisms of the policy, as well as the interregional dialogues regarding its contents, methodologies, and relevance on the way to a federative gender justice policy that takes us always to be a more affirmative of the diversities. Additionally, we joined the 16 Days of Activism campaign, leveraging social media for wider engagement. While there are creative videos and photo art from SCM members globally help amplify our advocacy. Looking ahead, our strategies include expanding advocacy campaigns, strengthening collaborations, and enhancing SCM capabilities through training and policy development. We are committed to mobilizing youth and deepening theological reflections, continuing our journey toward a world where diversity is celebrated. Thank you all for listening, and thank you all for your dedications to this crucial cause.
Friends, I'm Marcelo Leites. I'm the General Secretary of WSCF, but when we talk about climate and economic justice, this is a program that will be led in this particular moment by the Interregional Office together with the Global Staff Team. This is climate and economic justice together. Why this inseparable binomial? Because as the Federation, we believe that the current climate crisis is rooted in the unequal and unjust socioeconomic models of our world. The wealthiest in our planet population are responsible for as much as 60% of the global greenhouse gas emissions. And there is a relationship also with the fact that the richest 1% of our population owns twice as much wealth as 9 billion people in the world, of which the poorest and most vulnerable bear the greatest brand of climate crisis that already reach emergency proportion because of the relentless pursuit of wealth by those that hold the power in the world. The intersection of ecology and economy also manifests in the way the climate crisis is rooted in the conception of the economy that ignores the relationship between people and nature, where nature is conceived as a mere resource to be extracted and exploited for human consumption. It is vital that we engage in in-depth multidisciplinary analysis to help young people better understand the causes and consequences of the current climate crisis and its relationship with socioeconomic injustice. What are we doing? Raising awareness, training on ecological issues and social economic justice, announcing hope for the oikos from grassroots experiences to national and international actions. Advocacy and campaigning, for example, at the international level, such as UN climate conferences. Organizing capacity building and biblical theological training, emphasizing the role that the spirituality has in a proposal towards an integral justice of creation, spirituality of interconnectedness, of sufficiency, of resistance, and spirituality of transformation, which will inspire us the search of alternative. For 2024, WCF will emphasize the work in creating global initiatives that can be replicated at the global and regional levels, a youth-led campaign that can be heard in the ecumenical movement and beyond, an interregional training leadership program, probably in Africa, one of the most affected regions by climate impacts. The Ecumenical Youth of the World Student Christian Federation assumes the commitment to develop this program together, learning from each other, sharing efforts, and affirming the hope for this and future generations that the abundant life of the kingdom of God promised by Jesus Christ is already taking place, although not yet fulfilled. When small and more significant actions are carried out for justice and peace for all the creation. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I think we already hear from all of the staff. Is that right, Paudi? Okay. Now,
yes, I believe so. Yes, it was great to hear people, even people I've known for quite some time, because there's so much we take for granted. It was great hearing them talk from the heart about their work and what they do. It was a new perspective even to me, who has known them for so long.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Marcelo and the team, to sharing with us the beautiful action of WSCF. We highly believe WSCF is growing and still growing to make impact to this world. And brother and sister, I have sent in the column chat. I hope you can see what I sent. It's encouragement to join our action to access our silent auction. The first one, you can visit our art showcase as the link of the Padlet I already sent on the column chat. And you can bid for the art pieces here. There's the links, what I already sent to you. And how you should bid, I already also sent to you the instruction. The first one, you can enter your contact information. Second, specify your bid for each item. The items are listed in the same order as on the Padlet. Items 1 by Luis Dra, second by Catch Andres, items 3 and 4 by Mariana Jorge. 3. When indicating the field, consider the baseline or bidding price. If you choose not to bid, please enter a value of 0. The last one, the auction will remain open. The organizer will let all us know for the next step. So it's a very beautiful action. I happily to encourage the participant, and we are receiving the bids. And all the donation will help the growth of the WSCF. Do you want to add some, Howdy?
No, except to say that it is with the support of our senior friends that we accomplish so much. So many of our programs depend on their continued support and interaction. And as you've seen today, you're affecting real people's lives. And I hope everyone knows that. And that will encourage them to participate in this drive, this fundraising. Thank you.
All right, you can access and see what I sent in the column chat. I believe after this, I will let my brother, Marcelo, to say something.
Thank you. Thank you, Hilda. Thank you, Podi. Friends, thank you for being with us. We are close to ending this webinar. It takes some time. We extend for half an hour, perhaps. Sometimes technical issues happen, and we are in different parts of the world and trying to have a global staff team united through technology, and sometimes it may fail. However, I want to emphasize something that we have mentioned at the beginning. This is a senior friend Christmas event. This is a way that we can all understand the legacy or acknowledge the legacy through senior friend stories, to see the impact through the stories from current student of WCF and to know about the plans that the Assembly mandate and the Global Staff Team, together the governance body of WCF, have been implementing and planning. However, this is not only a solidarity campaign for rice funding. This is also a way to interconnect senior friends from all over the world. That's why we call this campaign a senior friend engagement campaign. Today, we are having this event, but of course, we have a much more comprehensive plan. For us, the senior friend play a key role in fulfilling our mission. Beyond, of course, the financial support that we always need, we aim for intergenerational cooperation. We want to foster intergenerational cooperation and mobilize resources and people, as we mentioned before. For that, we believe that this plan that we are presenting now, it will work to engage into a senior friend network during the next year. Some of the action in the roadmap includes educational webinar. We want the program coordinators and the interregional office will organize a series of educational webinars on topics related to the program: climate, human rights, gender justice, peace building. We will invite experts and speakers that can bring inputs and tell more about the experience in the field on how those programs work. And we want to encourage senior friends to actively participate, not only in the webinar, but in the field work together, the SCMers. We have a communication and social media campaign with updates. The idea is to run a joint social media campaign of each program through our media outlet in order to share informative posts, interview students and program coordinators about the performance of the program, to share exclusive behind-the-scene content about the program work, and combine the General Secretariat newsletter, the Red Book, and the Federation News to provide more information about how we are going with our programs. We will establish a donation or donor recognition wall, which is a digital wall to recognize, acknowledge donors who contribute at different levels with their name, testimonials, perhaps a short video in the campaign website, in the WCF website. And finally, we will develop a virtual global celebration event to wrap up the campaign, where we will share the highlights of 1 year program performance, the outcomes, a new story from SCMers on how they have lived this implementation of the program and activities that our colleagues, our fellow colleagues in the staff share with the audience. So I thank you again, and I ask you to join us in this new journey, in this new strategic period, and in this new relationship of intergenerational cooperation. Thank you, Hilda and Podi. I'm finalize my comment here.
No. So as we draw this event to a close, let's take a moment in the light of God's mercy to collectively offer our prayers and well wishes for the programs and the actions of young individuals dedicated to advancing our shared mission. Thank you all for your active participation, your contributions, and most importantly, for sharing this incredible journey with us today. Let's continue in this spirit of solidarity to carry forward together the legacy of WSCF and inspire positive change wherever we go. Amen.
Until we meet again, remember our collective efforts pave the way for a brighter future. Stay inspired, stay empowered, and keep advocating for justice and peace. Goodbye and take care. Have a very, very